obviously everybody is extremely hyped for the release of Grand Theft Auto 6, expected to come out next year in fall of 2025, knock on wood. If Rockstar keeps up with this game will be the most hyped video game of all time. In this video, I kind of wanted to go in length on what some of the features I wanted to see in Grand Theft Auto 6 are, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. By the way, before I get on to point number one, thank you all so much for the support. I crossed 100 subs, so it's all thanks to you guys, and my last video just went off. It's almost at 4,000 views already, so thank you guys so much. But let's get into point one. All right, so starting off with point number one, and this is something that's been in gaming for like the better part of the last decade or so, I believe since like 2017 or 2018 when Fortnite implemented it, and that is cross-play in, like, you know, cross-platform playing. So let's say, for example, I own a PlayStation 5 and a buddy of mine that I love playing video games with owns an Xbox Series X. Obviously, in older games like in GTA 5, you weren't able to do that. People on Xbox 360 and people on PS3 weren't able to play together. I think this is something that Rockstar should implement because it'll increase the total player count. There's going to be some issues in the beginning because this is something that Rockstar has never done before as far as I remember. So implementing it might be a new feature, and there might be some kinks like, oh, there's going to be a few network issues here and there, there's going to be packet bursts, but obviously that can all be fixed with time. As long as Rockstar implements it, I think that this is a huge step in the right direction because Call of Duty does it now, and you can even toggle on and off if you want to stay with your console or do you want to play with other people's consoles, and that might affect your internet. For example, if you want to play with really good internet and you're okay with sacrificing the ability to play with Xbox players and PC players eventually when it comes out on PC, then you can do that. Or if you're okay with a weaker network but you want to play with your friends on Xbox and PC, then you should have the ability to do that. And I think that Rockstar implementing this is a huge plus for GTA 6, and it brings on a wider fan base, so it's not just like people are limited to playing with people on their own console or they have to spend $500 on a new console to play with their friends. This is feature number one that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. And now moving on to point number two, thing number two I want to see in GTA 6 is NPC interactions. Obviously we've seen this in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto 4, and obviously Red Dead Redemption 2, which is the last Rockstar game that came out, but I want to see some more extensive and enhanced NPC interaction. So obviously if you walk up to an NPC in GTA 6, you want to be able to have an extended conversation with that person. I think that what Rockstar should do is they should make those people available for connections. Like if you meet a certain person when you're walking through like downtown Leonida or something like that, what you should be able to do is, hey, listen, this person's really good at a certain skill set and you could use that person on your team in a future mission. You should be able to do stuff like that, and I think that should also be implemented in online. Like if you're doing certain missions, I think that you should be able to talk to certain people. Obviously in GTA 5 it was kind of like dumbed down, like where people like Trevor Lamar, obviously Ron, and other people from the single player mode came onto online and you were able to talk with them and do missions that way. But it wasn't like you were able to meet people on the street, meet NPCs like that. And I think that this is a really cool feature that they should implement, just because it increases the replayability of the game and it allows you to explore the world more. And there's basically not endless, but there's a very large amount of possibilities with the different NPC interactions. And I think that if Rockstar implements this, it will definitely help their case for how often people replay the game and how long people stay on the game. So this is thing number two that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. All right, now moving on to point number three, thing number three that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6 is graphic settings for consoles. Now obviously it's been on PC from the beginning of time. You have the ability to alter your anti-aliasing, your ambient occlusion, like how realistic you want your water to be, and generally like the draw distance, like advanced stuff like that, something that a PC can handle. But I want to see some dumbed down versions on console. Obviously all PlayStation 5s are built the same, all series Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S consoles are built the same, but not all PCs are built the same. So I understand why those graphic settings exist as a way to kind of control it, so you're not, you know, overtaxing your PC, but your graphics aren't too down in the dumps. This is something that GTA 5 added with the enhanced edition. Obviously they had performance, which is just your 1080p 60 FPS, performance RT, which is just ray tracing, and fidelity, which is just 4K at 30. And I think that if Rockstar adds like a few more options, obviously not to the point where you're really putting a lot of stress on the graphics card and you're just taxing your PlayStation 5, and obviously consoles overheat, you don't want that to overheat. They don't have very advanced cooling systems compared to some PCs I've seen. I think it adds a lot of control to the player. Like the player has more control over what they're doing. Obviously you want to have some sort of dynamic settings where the player can just alter it like that, and I think that this is something that Rockstar could definitely work on. But obviously you don't want to see it too advanced because then it gets kind of confusing, and obviously, you know, the graphics card in like a PS5 might not be as powerful as a graphics card in say a PC. So it's something that Rockstar could do, and it's something that I'd like to see more of. So that is thing number 3 that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. All right, now moving on to thing number 4 that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. This is something that Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 did really well back when it came out in 2018, and that is single player DLC. So obviously you have your single player mode, and once people finish that, they kind of just flock to online and they go online. And what Rockstar did for Grand Theft Auto 5 is they basically just took, once they finish a story mode, which by the way, great story mode, one of the most fun I think I've ever played in my life, if not the most fun I've ever played. But basically once you're done with the story mode, it's kind of left to dry, and obviously people that really can't afford the luxury of PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live, or people that just generally don't like online, they're kind of stuck doing the same missions and just exploring the world. What I think Rockstar should do is add some single player DLC. So once you finish all the missions, what you can do is you can get these separate DLC packs and play some more missions. And obviously it doesn't have to come out right at, like with the game. Obviously maybe like a month or two in, or like however long it takes to finish a story mode. Once people are done with that, what they can do is start releasing DLC and make them available for the general public to enjoy, and from there they can just download it and play more missions, as opposed to just going online and just waiting for an update to come online and just playing that. So I think that that is pretty important, and I applaud Insomniac Games for doing that, and I hope that Rockstar takes that into account when they're working on the story mode for GTA 6. So this is point number 4 that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. Alright, so thing number 5 that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6, this is geared more towards PlayStation players, so if you're an Xbox user, I sincerely apologize, and that is the use of adaptive triggers. Now, this was kind of used back in Grand Theft Auto 5, the enhanced edition, when it came back around like 2.5, almost 3 years ago, basically. If I was driving a car, like a sports car, the acceleration, like obviously, like what adaptive triggers are is basically based on like the game mode you're playing or what you're doing in a certain video game. The triggers would basically adjust. They kind of like dampen, if you will, or it would be harder to compress or easier to compress based on what you're doing. So if you're firing a gun with a lot of recoil, or like a heavy, like a machine gun, for example, in a Call of Duty, it would be harder to press a trigger because it's like a heavy duty weapon, versus if you're driving like a sports car in GTA or Forza, it will be easier because it's easier to accelerate with lighter cars. And I think that they should definitely build upon this because, as I said, supercars and sports cars have much smoother accelerations compared to cars like your regular sedans, your SUVs, and your like pickup trucks, and your semis and stuff like that. So that's something they could do. And same thing with weapons. If I'm handling like a pistol, for example, it shouldn't be as hard to pull the trigger as something like an LMG or like a sniper rifle or something like that. So this is something that I think that Rockstar can take full advantage of. Really use those adaptive triggers because that kind of enhances the experience. Obviously, you should have the ability to turn it off if you're doing like a certain mission. You don't want to mess with the accuracy or like the general, the way the mission's going. But I think that what Rockstar could do here is make the game, enhance the game, and make the user experience feel much more like immersed, and make you feel like you're actually playing in Leonida as opposed to just sitting in your chair with a controller and just staring at a screen for hours together playing a video game. So I think that Rockstar could do something really special with the adaptive trigger. So this is thing number 5 that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. All right, so moving on to point number 6 that I want to see in Grand Theft Auto 6, and that is realistic car mechanics. So obviously back in Grand Theft Auto 5, the cars handled like really arcadey, like they weren't at all realistic. If you're taking like a sharp turn, it feels like you're sliding on ice. Obviously in supercars, obviously you know, the turning is much tighter and the handling is superior to like bigger cars and less sporty cars. So turning is going to be should be less of a problem in supercars and sports cars as opposed to, you know, regular cars with regular engines, if you will. And another thing that I really didn't like in GTA 5 was a mechanic where if a car flips upside down, you could literally just use a joystick and turn the wheel and bring it back right side up. And obviously this is a huge problem because obviously you can't do that in real life. If your car's upside down, you're basically screwed. You either got to push it or you got to buy yourself a new car. And I think that this is something that GTA 6 should take into account, add more realistic car mechanics so that if you're driving a sports car, you actually get the handling of a sports car as opposed to it, you know, just sliding all over the place as if you're driving on ice. So I think that this is something that Rockstar should definitely take into account when focusing on the game coming out next year. And yeah, that is my final feature that I love to see in Grand Theft Auto 6. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a sub, be sure to drop a like. Thank you so much for the love, and more videos are going to be coming soon, so stay tuned. Thanks again, Stu Crew. This is Stuger signing off. Peace out.